Touchdown, Alabama, let's get it.
The process, no one can stop this. Hottest show in the streets, I bet you can't top this. Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
Recruiting news and interviews, just sit back and watch this.
The process.
Hey everyone, welcome into The Process, Crimson Tide Recruiting. I am your host, Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown, Alabama. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for another episode of The Process. The first thing I want and need you to do is hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Subscribers, hit that notification bell, be notified when we drop content on our YouTube page. Back with another episode of The Process, and today I want to take a look at some Alabama commits who I feel will have breakout senior seasons, and I feel this season will lead to a boost in their ratings and rankings on multiple recruiting sites. I'll break down why I feel that way, because high school football is here. I know a lot of you guys are waiting for the college football season to kick off, which is a couple of weeks away, but high school football in most states kick off this week. I am so excited to get on the road. There's nothing like high school football. I love getting out to all of the different schools in all the different areas. I know a lot of people like to see the powerhouse programs compete in terms of high school football. I like going to see those games, like going to see Thompson, going to see Bruford, going to see all of those teams play, but I also like those small town schools where it's a school like 10 minutes or so away from each other in different towns, cross town rivalries in those small towns in high school football. There's definitely something special about the game and the atmosphere that high school football brings about. So I'm excited to get out to several games this weekend. I have a jam-packed weekend scheduled ahead of me. I'll talk about some of the games I am going to at the end of this show, but I want to talk about those guys on 4 prospects who are verbally committed to Alabama here in the 2023 recruiting class, so I feel we'll see a boost in their recruiting ratings and rankings because they will have big senior seasons. And I also want to give an update on 2 top targets for the Alabama Crimson Tide in the 2023 recruiting class. We're going to start right there, starting with 2023 5-star defensive lineman James Smith out of Carver Montgomery High School in Montgomery, Alabama. One of the top interior defensive lineman prospects in the nation, really one of the top overall players in the 2023 recruiting class. Whenever I talk about him, I have to bring up the violent level that he plays at. A really aggressive interior guy who I really like to watch. But he recently released a top 6, included the Crimson Tide, the Florida Gators, the Ohio State Buckeyes, the Auburn Tigers, the Georgia Bulldogs, and also the Alabama State Hornets in his top 6. Putting Alabama State in there, showing some love to the HBCU program. And we take a look at his top 6. There are a lot of schools you expect to be involved. And take a look at the Florida Gators, the Crimson Tide, of course, the Auburn Tigers, and also the Georgia Bulldogs. Those schools have been pretty constant in his recruitment alongside his teammate 5-star linebacker Corey Rusaw. But the team who is a bit interesting at the moment when you take a look at both of these guys, top 6, because they have the same top 6 and they are looking like a package deal at the moment. But the team that stands out that gets my attention is the Ohio State Buckeyes, and their recruitments are starting to look very similar to Curtis Perry's recruitment during the 2022 recruiting cycle. Of course, Perry was a 4-star defensive lineman originally from Montgomery, Alabama, played his senior season at Pike Road High School, and the Ohio State Buckeyes were very involved in this recruitment at a point in time. And it looks as if they are going to be very involved with some other Montgomery natives when we take a look at James Smith and also Corey Rusaw moving forward in this 2023 recruiting cycle. Of course, Perry did sign his national letter of intent to University of Alabama during the early signing period during the 2022 cycle. Both of these guys are looking to do that as well, most likely going to wait all the way to December to the national signing day, the first national signing day of the 2023 recruiting cycle during the early signing period to sign to the school of their choice. The Tide are in a good position with both of them, but they definitely still have some work to do. Getting both of these guys on campus for an official visit would be huge. I know Perry basically officially visited Alabama, I think a couple of weeks before he signed. It was very, very late in the 2022 recruiting cycle in terms of when he signed a national letter of intent. I think that is something that Quay Russaw and James Smith could be looking at as well. But both guys, I feel the Crimson Tide are in a good position with, but they still have some work to do. The Georgia Bulldogs are very much alive. The Auburn Tigers are alive as well. The Gators look to be in a good position. Of course, the Ohio State Buckeyes, they have a great tradition, a great winning tradition. They look to be involved at this point in time. Of course, the Alabama State Hornets, with the HBCU route becoming more and more popular, you definitely have to give them some attention as well. But like I said, Will Smith, an aggressive interior defensive lineman who any school would love to have. Guy who's very quick for his size. With him, I think he weighs around that 300-pound range at the moment, can turn speed into power really easily, very quick. I really like what he brings to the table in terms of being a defensive lineman. Has some experience rushing from the edge and being an interior guy. Will definitely be an interior defensive lineman at the next level, in my opinion. In terms of Quay Russaw, he also, of course, 2023 5-star recruit out of Carver Montgomery High School in Montgomery, Alabama. Pretty much talked about this recruitment by talking about James Smith's recruitment, with both of them looking like a package deal at the moment, releasing the same top school list back together again for the senior seasons at Carver Montgomery High School. He is a hybrid linebacker prospect, could rush from the edge. He rushes from the edge with a combination of speed, power, can shed blocks, shows an ability to stack and shed. You really like what you see out of him as an edge rusher, but he can be an athletic inside linebacker, which is what we are seeing on this play as he plays inside linebacker. So he plays sideline to sideline and makes some violent hits, physical tackler, put together as well. If you saw this kid in person, you would say he looks like he can play on Saturday right now in the at a Power 5 school in the SEC. Just how put together he is. If you guys haven't checked out our video special that we did one on James Smith and Quay Russaw, but both of them are in the weight room at Madhouse Training in Montgomery, Alabama, working out in those particular videos, and you can just see how put together Quay Russaw and James Smith are at this particular point in their recruitments. But those are the two updates I wanted to provide. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of Alabama commits who I feel are primed for breakout seasons. These guys I feel will see their recruiting rankings and ratings rise across the recruiting landscape after a big senior season, and I just feel really good about this. Just taking a look at what they have done in the past, just take a look at the opportunity that they will have in the future. We're starting with 5-star running back Justice Haynes, who will play a senior season at Bruford High School after transferring to Bruford for his senior season. I know a lot of you may say he's already a 5-star, but he's only a 5-star according to Touchdown Alabama at the moment. Most recruiting sites do not have him as a 5-star, but I think this is going to change after a big senior season at Bruford. I broke down his film in a recruiting reaction video, I think a couple of weeks ago, but some of the things I pointed out in terms of what he was able to do as a junior show great balance, speed, exploding to the open field, show some nice open field speed, some good top end speed, which is what we are seeing on the video right now. Also showed just flashes of the fact that he can catch the football out of the backfield, and I think that is one of the reasons why he's going to rise in a lot of recruiting boards, is because Bruford is going to give him the football in space in terms of getting him the football in passing situations. I think he's going to be a threat on passing downs this upcoming season. Bruford had their jamboree last week, and he took it looked like a screenplay all the way to the house, which is something we did see in his junior film as well. We saw him make a play with his hands on that last play as well. So I think that is going to be one of the reasons that he rises this upcoming season, because Bruford is a school who runs the ball some, they pass the ball as well. I think they're going to be pretty balanced, and I'm pretty sure that he's going to be involved in that passing game. And with him playing at Bruford, he's going to play against a higher level of competition, starting with the first game of the season when they take on Thompson High School. I'm definitely going to be in attendance for that matchup on this upcoming Friday. We'll see what Justice Haynes can do against that tough, physical Thompson defense, who has 5-star defensive back Tony Mitchell on their team. They also have 5-star defensive end Peter Wills, is verbally committed to the Clemson Tigers on their defense as well. Another guy to pay attention to is Yunze Pierre. I think he's going to have another great season. He actually had a big season last year. I think he should be rated a lot higher than most recruiting sites have him rated, but he's an explosive edge rusher, a guy with a lot of speed, physical tackler, but the thing that is the biggest knock against him at the moment is his size. He's a guy who will definitely need to add on some weight at the next level. He's definitely aware of that. He's aware that he needs to add some muscle and some mass to his frame. And like Nick Saban said recently in a press conference, he feels that their program has eliminated all weight problems. I'm pretty sure that is on both sides of the spectrum, guys who need to gain weight and guys who need to lose weight. So that is definitely not a problem. But he's an edge rusher with a long frame at about 6'3", 6'4". He's also a guy with some long arms, has a great long wingspan, which is why he can knock balls down the line of scrimmage like we just saw. So I think Yunze Pierre is going to turn some heads this season. He's a guy with a deep bag of rush moves. Keep your eyes on Pierre. I think he's going to make some noise on both sides of the football before you follow high school, because they're actually going to use him at tight end quite a bit as well. So another guy to pay attention to is Cole Adams, 2023 four-star wide receiver out of Owasso High School in Oklahoma, one of the fastest overall prospects in the 2023 class. Has a PR of 10.65 in the 100-meter dash, and his speed shows on the football field, can be a threat as a wide receiver as he can climb the ladder, showing off his athleticism, which is something we see when you take a look at his junior film. A guy who's very elusive and exciting to watch in terms of getting the football in his hands in the open field, a willing blocker. So I don't think he's going to rise to become a 5-star, but I think he's going to be a kid who's going to be a high-ranking 4-star by the end of his senior season once more people get eyes on him. Of course, Cole Adams is the 2023 4-star wide receiver out of Owasso High School in Oklahoma, who's verbally committed to the Crimson Tide at the moment. The last guy I want to talk about today is Brayson Hubbard, a 2023 3-star athlete out of Mississippi who verbally committed to the Crimson Tide, who is projected to be a defensive back. Most people have him rated as a 3-star recruit simply because he does not have much film as a defensive back. A lot of it is quarterback related because he was easily one of the more exciting quarterbacks to watch in Mississippi last year. I think he was the Mississippi Player of the Year, Mr. Football, for his specific region and not region but classification in Mississippi. So he is just an interesting commit for Alabama, just based on the fact that he got an offer from the Crimson Tide after performing well as a defensive back, although he played pretty much all quarterback at Ocean Springs High School last year, and he was a pretty good quarterback. As you guys see, some of the passes that he's able to make, but the plays that he's able to make on the run with his feet, with that good speed, is what separates him, which is the athleticism that we see the most when we take a look at his film. Plays baseball also for Ocean Springs High School, which is probably why he has that strong arm and that speed just flashes all the time when you take a look at his film, that separation that he's able to create in the open field. So we know a couple of things about him in terms of him possibly being a defensive back at the next level. We know he has the speed to keep up with a lot of wide receivers, running backs out of the backfield if you have to cover them. So we know he has that speed. Interested to see his ball skills, how he reacts to the ball, his reaction skills. Definitely excited to get out to Ocean Springs High School this year to evaluate him some more. But definitely have footage when I get out to Ocean Springs High School, have detailed evaluations, because I want you guys to be involved in Touchdown Alabama's evaluation of these guys this upcoming season. And we're going to get started with those evaluations on this weekend. Like I said at the top of the show, I have a jam-packed weekend schedule starting on Thursday. I will be in Andalusia when Andalusia takes on Opp High School. Andalusia is home of the Crimson Tide's 2023 2024 4-star running back target Jamarion Burnett, 6 foot, approximately 200 pounds, a big body running back who I am excited to see rush for over 2,000 yards as a junior. I'm excited to see him as a sophomore. I'm excited to see him kick off his junior campaign at Andalusia High School. Andalusia is also home to a rising 2023 defensive lineman in Jaden Jackson, who has several Power 5 offers, so I'll definitely keep my eyes on Jackson as well. But on Friday, I will be in Georgia to watch the Crimson Tide's 5-star defensive back commit Tony Mitchell take on the Crimson Tide's 5-star running back commit Justice Haynes in Bruford, as the Bruford Wolves will take on the Thompson Warriors in a highly anticipated matchup. I can't wait for that matchup. There's so many storylines to follow. You have Bruford, who's a powerhouse in Georgia. When I watched them last year when they had Jake Pope and also Isaiah Bond, they had a very deep team. They rotated a lot of guys out. I wonder if they're going to do the same this year. But there's a lot to watch when you take a look at this game. Thompson's defense was historically good last season. Lost Jeremiah Alexander to Alabama, of course. It'll be interesting to see how they bounce back from that with Peter Woods and Tony Mitchell on their defense this upcoming season. After that, you have a game between Milton and also Lipscomb High School. When you take a look at Milton out of Georgia, it is home to the Crimson Tide's 2023 defensive back target Bryce Thornton, so we will stay to watch that game as well. On Saturday, we will be in Mercedes-Benz Stadium to watch the Crimson Tide's 4-star quarterback commit Dylan Lonergan and Brookwood High School go to work. Also take a look at Caleb Downs out of Mill Creek High School in Georgia go to work later on in the night on Saturday when they take center stage at the Corky Kell event in Atlanta, Georgia. But we have a full slate ahead of us this weekend. So excited to get out to these games, bring you guys highlights, of course, like we do every season, bring you guys in-depth evaluations on these guys as well. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. The first thing I need to do before you leave is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, be notified when we drop content on the YouTube page. Then go over to touchdownalalabama.com, pick your subscription today. With that subscription, you will be able to read all of our subscriber-only articles. Get your hands on Yearly Prints magazine issue as well. Then head over to the Google Play Store if you have an Android device to download the Touchdown Alabama app. The app is also located in the Apple App Store if you have an Apple device. As always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama.
Process.